NROL-95's launch and Redwire's Starfall agreement show how national security and microgravity hardware are scaling on the same Falcon and Dragon platforms. This is SpaceX Daily, Episode 61. A Falcon 9 lifted a classified National Reconnaissance Office payload from Vandenberg Space Force Base. The vehicle flew a national security configuration already qualified for those orbits. NRO is maintaining parallel architecture tracks ahead of its 2026 satellite fleet. The mission adds another flight to the cadence of Starshield-derived hardware serving government customers. The same Falcon and Dragon family now supports dedicated commercial microgravity work as well. Redwire signed an agreement for biotech and pharmaceutical payloads on the Starfall re-entry vehicle. Starfall is a Dragon-derived capsule built for rapid sample return from orbit. It retains Dragon's Pika X heat shield and recovery systems while trading internal volume for a dedicated service module. The contract broadens commercial access to Dragon-class hardware beyond crew and cargo missions. While Starfall sharpens re-entry economics, a recent Falcon upper stage disposal run produced an unintended lunar impact. SpaceX confirmed the Falcon 9's second stage reached the lunar surface after a disposal burn shortfall. Chinese and South Korean orbiters recorded the dust plume and resulting crater. Telemetry matched pre-impact predictions, and engineers are now reviewing the burn parameters for future CIS lunar profiles. The event marks another case of Falcon hardware reaching CIS lunar space after primary mission completion. The same simulation and telemetry demands behind these high-energy profiles are driving internal compute growth. SpaceX plans to expand its internal computing resources more than fivefold. The build-out targets simulation, telemetry processing, and on-orbit data handling for Starlink and vehicle testing. No specific vendors or rack counts were released with the announcement. The increase aligns with rising demands from constellation operations and ongoing test campaigns. Community trackers noted the 3-day 20-hour pad turnaround at SLC-4E for the next flight. Falcon 9 booster B1093 is scheduled to fly its 16th mission on the Starlink 17-38 launch from Vandenberg. The target window opens August 8 at 2 p.m. UTC, with weather and trajectory data still under review. The booster's 25-day interval since its prior flight continues the rapid reuse pace. Worth keeping an eye on is whether sustained cash flow from Starlink subscriptions and national security contracts can offset ongoing Starship and ground infrastructure spending. On the AI front, the Fivefold compute expansion supports internal simulation workloads tied to vehicle testing and constellation management. NVIDIA shares rose after SpaceX committed to an exclusive partnership for next-generation Vera Rubin GPU racks. xAI's integration of cursor tooling aims to combine developer workflows with xAI models for code generation. From an engineering standpoint, the Starfall re-entry vehicle builds directly on Dragon's proven pressure vessel and heat shield architecture, yet optimizes for smaller, faster turnaround payloads. Dragon's Pika X tiles already demonstrated repeated atmospheric entry at orbital velocities. Starfall inherits that material selection while reducing overall mass to allow dedicated missions rather than sharing a Dragon trunk. The design trades some internal volume for a dedicated service module that handles deorbit and attitude control, lowering the marginal cost of each microgravity sample return below what a full Dragon flight would require. By keeping the same outer mold line and recovery systems, SpaceX avoids new qualification campaigns for parachutes and splashdown loads while still achieving the rapid reuse cadence already proven on cargo Dragons. The dominant constraint on any Earth return capsule is peak heat flux during re-entry. Starfall's smaller ballistic coefficient reduces that flux relative to a fully loaded Dragon, which in turn relaxes the thickness and density requirements on the heat shield tiles. The resulting mass savings can be reinvested in additional payload or propellant margin for the deorbit burn. This mirrors the same mass fraction logic that drove Falcon 9's first stage recovery. Every kilogram saved on the thermal protection system directly increases the useful payload that can be returned rather than expended. The next engineering milestone to watch is whether Starfall can demonstrate a turnaround time measured in weeks rather than months between flights. If the vehicle reuses the same pressure vessel and avionics across multiple missions, the per-flight cost floor approaches the raw material and propellant cost of the service module alone. That cost curve determines how many dedicated microgravity flights the platform can support before commercial demand saturates the manifest. SPCX closed at $114.92, up 4.5%. Before we go, the August 8th Starlink launch from Vandenberg will test whether B1093 can extend its reuse record. That covers everything worth knowing about SpaceX today. A quick rating on Apple Podcasts or Spotify goes a long way. I'm Patrick in Vancouver. See you tomorrow. This show comes to you from the NRO network. If you want another sharp daily briefing, Modern Investing Techniques has you covered. Modern strategies for Canadian and US investors. All our shows are free at NRONetwork.com. Prefer reading? Today's full write-up, sources, and transcript are on the episode blog at NRONetwork.com. Same briefing, readable format. This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.